So with Jane going away and Jadine very soon moving into her house, let's have a look at what goes on behind the scenes with the different building processes. Welcome to your new home. Last time we saw some progress at Jane's house. Her stairs were in. Ivan and I are on a mission to find out where Jane's stairs actually come from. We head out to Mackay Kitchens and Stairs to speak to Russ and Stephen. So we are at Mackay's Kitchen and Stairs, aren't we, Ivan?
We are.
And you're going to go and talk to Russ about Jane's staircase and what's happening there, and I'm going to go and talk to Steve, who's in sales.
We got Mackay's to make the stairs for Jane's house like we have been doing for some time. They'll be making stairs for us, and stairs is one part of their business, i.e. Mackay Kitchen and Stairs. So what do you do?
What do we do?
That? Yeah.
Pretty much put you on a list, make a time for our site measurer to come out. He measures them up with the builder on site, comes up with the design, whether it's going to fit, might have to kick back to the architect, might not, generally doesn't. From there it comes back, gets input into our system, our CAD system, and all the parts are in there. It goes out to the machine shop where it gets loaded up onto sheets, and the sheets are labelled with the individual customer names, cut, processed, has the edges profiled. The stair stringers are cut on another CNC machine, and then it comes to assembly, which is you can see in the background. It's a pretty straightforward system, although there's a lot of variables when it comes to stairs. It seems simple, but it's not always easy. There's a lot of things to think about in getting it right.
There's a predominant amount of stairs will be made of MDF for carpet purposes.
For carpet, generally a carpeted stair would be from MDF. Right. Fixed off every stair, but that's not to say that some people don't have timber, or there's a certain situation where it's going to be exposed to the elements prior to the building being closed in, where it will need to be timber or plywood involved in that.
There's pretty much no limit to what you can build in terms of what's required. Obviously we've got the old circular stairs. I don't imagine you do too many of those.
Well, circular stairs are a harder thing to get through any consenting process now. But yeah, into not into living areas, but like into upstairs areas where the more sleeping areas and stuff, you can definitely still use winder stairs and kite winders, that kind of thing.
Pretty hard to push a telly up them as well, mate.
Yeah, it is. But those kind of things aren't really suitable for a living area upstairs. You're more limited to your straight flights and landings in those situations.
So I'm with Steve Porter, and Steve is the sales manager here. Yep. So walk me through the process. I'm a client just coming in and I want some stairs for my house. What's the first thing you do?
Right, so we normally get the plans emailed in, or they bring them in as a paper copy, and then we just look at the plans and we look at the two levels of the house, and then we just count up the number of treads and risers that are in a house.
Treads and risers?
Yeah.
Sorry, don't know that.
So the treads are the horizontal piece that you tread on, and then the riser is the piece that's supported that goes vertical.
Okay.
So we add those up, and it's basically on a line drawing. Count them up, and then it goes to a fixed price quote from there, which is something that we can give you verbally, or we can just put it on a piece of paper and give it to you. Okay. They're quite a cheap commodity nowadays, but they are all extremely different. Every house has got something that requires a kite winder, which is which is where you walk up a stair and it goes around on 90 or 180 degrees. It's like there's angles in it that go up around, which is all custom made for every different house that gets measured.
Right.
So we do that, and they're just a set price, and it's quite simplistic, the process. It gets booked in, and then within that following week, one of the guys here gets out them, myself included. We get them measured up, so we meet the builder on site,
right.
Get them measured. So they're all, like I said there before, custom made to each individual house. And we come back here, they get put into the system, and then they get cut and assembled on the factory floor.
That's amazing, that bit of machinery you've got out there, how it does that.
Yeah, it's all computer
really
generated. It is amazing how it works. It's fantastic. And then from there, so they just get cut, assembled, and then we just make a phone call back to the builder and say they're ready to pick up.
It's all ready to go. So the ones in Jane's house are the MDF style with going to have carpet over the top. Correct. Are there many other styles of stairs that you do here, like the open or float? What are
the floating, the spine back we call them.
Spine back. You learn something every day doing this.
The spine back is what we refer to when there's like a centre pillar that runs up the middle, usually made of steel.
Okay.
That's obviously outsourced by a steel person that would make that. And then we would normally just do those floating treads. We manufacture those, and again, they're quite a hard, expensive, what we'd call it, route to take for a client. Extreme feature, and people don't understand actually how much they do cost these days to put them in a house. It's great for the architects to draw them, but when it comes to paying for it, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Jane is a woman of many talents, and she's definitely got a green thumb, which is lucky because without a finished house, she's got to spend her time somewhere. How will this love of gardening affect her decisions for her landscaping?
So Jane, we're talking landscaping, and I do like the way we discussed the Phoenix palm and how it's sort of risen from the ashes, so to speak. You've sort of dressed it up a little bit out there, and what are your plans?
We're in the guest bedroom at the moment, and you can see we've got the ranch sliders, so obviously there's going to be like a decking that goes out there.
Oh, fabulous.
The palm is without doubt a feature. It's been here for years, and I've just spent an enormous amount of money on it, just having it trimmed. It will give some nice shade to the area, but also it's on the southern side as well, so some wind protection, which is great. I've got this wonderful white peach tree here. That's the big dilemma. Do I get rid of it or do I leave it there?
Yes. I love the old-fashioned white peaches.
I know,
it's so yummy.
It's divine. So that's something we've got to talk about. Then when we come down the side, I've still got to make a decision whether these windows stay or whether I actually get them converted back to ranch sliders, as was the original plan. If it is ranch sliders, then obviously we'll have another deck going out there. This is the office, so it's not quite as critical to have ranch sliders, but it would be nice to have. So, and obviously...
so your vision through there, is it just the...
I would keep it fairly open because it is so narrow.
You can put the, dress up sort of the fence line. Orange or trellis or
like that. And a friend, I've got my first housewarming present already. A friend's bought me this beautiful outdoor mirror. So that's also got to go into the brief somewhere.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, so that's... But that I want to try and keep that area relatively open. But as you go further down towards the front, because I think we've discussed this before, because it's classified as a special area, I had to have my plans approved for the front. So that will be all natives, and there'll be some cabbage trees down the side.
How do you mean special area?
Because it's the esplanade, the council designates it.
The planting kind of
thing. You have to get your landscaping plans approved for the front of the section.
All right.
So, because I just wanted to get it through, I've gone natives. Now, natives, I love natives, but out the back, I don't want natives. I want it to be pretty, that's the wrong word, but it's a different style.
A cottage.
Cottagey.
Cottagey garden.
Or beachy, sort of,
Because you've got that fabulous section outside, which is going to be something, could be subdivided.
Absolutely,
and that's more your veggie patch out there.
That's my superannuation fund sitting out there.
Very nice. How nice for you.
When I do talk to Jordan, we're not going to be looking at the back section. So that's the way we design this part here. We'll be assuming that it is a single section, and I've sold off the back.
Okay.
So,
great. Well, exciting times.
Oh, it is, yeah.
At Jadine's house, things are moving along very quickly. Dustin is there dealing with the tough stuff. Concrete.
Here we are today. We've got the concrete patio and stuff's been poured. Now, Jadine selected an exposed aggregate finish, which is, as you would expect, you can see the pebbles and stuff in the concrete. Now, it's a bit of a process. So what I've got here at the moment is literally the first part of the process. The concrete gets poured, and then the guys put a product called Rugasol on top. Now, they spray it on, and what it does is it means that the top layer of the concrete doesn't go off, and they can come back later. They water blast the top off, and it leaves the pebbles and the shiny stones that you can see at the moment. Now, this is only the first part of the process, because the next part to make this actually look really nice is an acid wash, which they'll be doing in the next couple of days, and after that there'll be the sealer coat which goes on. So that'll give the concrete the nice shiny look. All the stones and the colours of the stones will all come out. It'll be a little bit sort of smoother underfoot when you're walking on it and that sort of thing. So it's quite a big area, as you can see. We've done a lot of it around Jadine's home. It's in line with pretty much what she had last time. So it's looking pretty good, and I think she'll be pretty happy with what we've got here at the moment. Hi, I'm Dustin. When it comes to fees, this is my advice. Fees in relation to the construction of your home could be things like professional fees, like the council, the engineer, the surveyor, that sort of thing. With Fowler Homes, all of those things are taken care of at the beginning, or we try to include those in the contract, so that you are not subjected to variations later that were unexpected. So we try and establish those fees at the beginning with you. We know obviously that you're going to need a builder consent, so there's a fee established with that. In a lot of cases now in Christchurch, there are surveying fees that are required, so that's a bit of a new one to many people. Doesn't really apply to new subdivisions as much, but certainly with existing builds in Christchurch it will do. Engineering fees, well, that's pretty much a standard now. Whether it's two-storey or single-storey, you're going to have fees relating to the foundation design. Particularly again with us at Fowler Homes, we use a rib raft system, so every floor is engineered, so there's an engineering fee associated with that. So the best thing to do really is to make sure those fees are covered off and they're not left out of your contract, because if they are, it'll be a variation. So put the fees in, make sure everyone's fully aware of what's required, and you won't have any nasty surprises.
Jadine's house is so close to being finished. Dustin takes us through the last few things that are going on before the big handover can take place. Although the house isn't quite ready for handing over, Jadine is getting herself sorted for the big move.
So it's the final week and we are moving in this weekend, Saturday. So this is my room and just kind of having a look around to see where I'm going to put everything, and it's really exciting. I'd love to move in tonight, to be honest. Still got a few things I've got to do through the week, you know, with the power, insurance, just different things that I've got to organise. So really, really busy week. My mum arrives today from Blenheim, so she'll be here to help me pack and organise everything. And then I've got the rest of my family coming down from Blenheim as well, my sister and her husband. I've got some cousins coming to help me as well. So we're all ready to go on Saturday and get moving into the house. As much as I'd love to just bring my sleeping bag and come down tonight, I can't though, so I have to wait till Saturday till we've got all the insurance and everything sorted out. So yeah, first night's head day.
Now, you wouldn't usually find Dustin in the laundry, but somehow we've managed to get him in there. Unfortunately, he's not doing the washing, but he's worked out how to open the garage door.
Laundries. What do I say about laundries? It's a place where you wash your clothes and stuff, isn't it? So in Jadine's case, it's in the garage. Now, the reason for that is that the house is not really that big, so it's more important for her to have room in other parts of the house rather than take it up with the laundry, so we put it in the garage. But something just a little bit nicer is to go with the laundry unit. So there'll be there's a tub, a nice tap, a bit of an overkill on the tap really. She's quite fancy, so she's quite lucky to have that. And then just some cupboardry and stuff below the sink, which is good. Room for her washing machine. If she wants to put a dryer in, she'll probably just put it up on the wall somewhere, or maybe off to the side. It's entirely up to her, but it's one of those areas that you need to think about it, because you're not really in the laundry that much. So if you don't want it to take up room in your house, put it in the garage, dress it up nice.
Jane is happy to see something new in her house because not a lot has changed while she's been away. She's got doors. It's not a lot, but it's one step closer to the completion of her new home.
So this is my walk-in robe, one of my little luxuries of having it. A couple of things about this. One, we've got the wrong window in. They weren't expecting it to be opaque, though it was on the plan, so that's got to be changed. But this is probably been the most area I've had debate with Ivan is on sliding doors. I don't like recessed doors, but he convinced me that for a walk-in robe I didn't have any choice. So once again, Ivan's right. I must admit, whenever I do get to a point where I don't know which way to turn, usually I take his advice because he's done it so many times, and invariably he's right. So, yeah, this is the walk-in robe.
It's not much of a sight at this stage, but Jane's using her imagination when it comes to what will eventually be her stunning kitchen.
Now, once again, you've got to use your imagination. This is my kitchen. It's been in New Zealand. It's actually come from Germany. It's a flat pack from Germany, and it's been here for I want to say a month now, but it's in storage. And again, use your imagination. This is going to be my kitchen here. So very white. I've gone very minimalist. This is where my integrated fridge is down here, and my lovely bench top will be. You'll be able to see that on another aspect. So what can I say? Ivan, the pressure's on.
Speaking of kitchens, we went out to Palazzo, where Jane will be getting her kitchen from at some stage. Monique showed us some of the features Jane has to look forward to.
I'm standing in Palazzo Kitchen in the fabulous showroom here, about to meet Monique, who's one of the fantastic kitchen designers here. Hi Monique, and thanks for having us.
Hi, thank you.
And so, what do you do first with the client?
Normally we welcome the clients into our showroom, take them for a little bit of a look around, show them some of the fabulous product that we've got on display. All of our kitchens are actually imported from Germany.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we take them around, show them a little bit of what's on offer, and then we sit down and take a brief and get an idea of what the client really wants, and then we start doing a design from there.
Okay, excellent. So, how many choices do you have, like for the kitchens? Is there?
There's a whole range. We can do very contemporary right through to something like what we're standing in, which is more of your traditional country style of kitchen. So we like to think that we've got something for everyone.
So do you think you've been a lot busier with the rebuild with Christchurch? Or?
Yeah, we definitely have. We've noticed that we have been a lot busier. A lot of it is predominantly new builds or rebuilds. But we like to feel like we're making a difference and helping everything get back to what it was.
Hi, I'm Ivan, and this is my tip of the day, kitchen and flooring. It's often said in a kitchen of a home, it's the heart of the home. So when people come to see you, people congregate in your kitchen, there's meals made, lots of laughter, a little bit of discussion around homework with children, and no doubt the odd argument with the wife, but it is the heart of the home, and it's a very, very important part of the house. At Fowler Homes, we use 2 joinery companies to do our kitchens, depending on people's overall budgets. Most of our homes incorporate a fully integrated kitchen, laundry also, and then we have some clients that require custom-made furniture to be fitted into the house because that's just what they need, so that's all fine. The kitchen really is so important. It's probably an area we spend a lot of time discussing. It's important to incorporate the design of the kitchen you want into the design of the house. No point making a small space for a large kitchen or not putting in that magical walk-in pantry, which is what we tend to use these days. The laundry is also an under-resourced area. People don't put enough thought into their laundry, and if you've got family, you know you need more laundry space. So for that reason, we often don't do laundries in garages, but on occasion where clients are happy with that, obviously that's what they get. Well, I'm not living in it, they are. And the flooring of those areas is also vital, and Amy from next door, she can talk you through all the different options there. There's a whole heap of them. Vinyl planking seems to be the most popular currently, but then you've got people that want tiles. The odd person wants timber floor. So all of those things, we talk through that right from the design stage through the budget and to completion. So kitchen, flooring, that's my tip of the day.
Building sites produce a lot of waste. Stay watching to see how Fowler Homes work with Quick Skips to help the environment. I met up with Dave from family-owned local business Quick Skips to find out how they are working to reduce waste to landfill and minimise the impact of project waste.
Well, we've spent quite a bit of time working with Ivan on looking at how to reduce the waste. And one of the first things we did was we looked at the subcontractors and what they could do to remove their own waste during the process of the build. So foundations use polystyrene, there's the bats in the house, there's the roofing.
So you're talking about bats. Do you meaning that the leftover bats or they get taken away, or?
Yes, the person who installs the bats removes that and they recycle it back in their process.
Carpets as well. I think Ivan mentioned this before, that doors and floors, they do recycling of their...
They remove all the offcuts. The same with the paint process as well. The painting contractor will remove the paint, and they also take their brushes away at the end of the day and wash them in special drums, so there's no contamination going back into the systems through that. We also got a process where when the jib's done, we remove the jib into jib skips. That's recycled. That goes back into soil conditioning products.
Really? Wow.
We recycle the bricks. That gets crushed, so that goes back into roading material. There's also the Integra board, concrete panels that's now being used a lot. That's also recycled and crushed. So it's just removing some of the bulk from the waste as well.
Okay, and where does most of the waste go? I mean, is that Burwood Plantation still, or is it the...
No, we use Eco Central, which is an accredited waste company here in Christchurch. They have depots in Styx, Bromley and Parkhouse.
Right.
And they also then will recycle what they can from that, and then the rest is put through the landfill out to Cape Valley.
Excellent. Wow, there's a lot to learn about rubbish, isn't there? And it's great that fellas are actually taking an active part and being part of that and saving Canterbury's and, well, New Zealand's environment.
With the stairs in, Jane still has some decisions to make about the window. What will she decide?
This is another one of my dilemmas, my two-storey window. In the plans it was opaque glass because I didn't want people to be able to see through, or more specifically, my neighbours, which, great neighbours, but I'm sure they don't want to see me running up and down here. But having, by mistake, Ivan misread the plans and it was ordinary glass. And now I've got the big dilemma, do I stick with the ordinary glass or do I have the opaque glass? And I really don't know which way to go. And the more people you talk to, the more conflicting advice you get. So it's a bit of watch this space.
Things got pretty interesting when Ivan and Jane were last in her bedroom. Jane is back to let Ivan know what she decided about the light switches next to her bed.
Well, you might remember Ivan and I were having a bit of debate about where the light switches should go that operate the lights here, because we've got, when you come in, the light can be switched on there, but when you're in bed, you have to be able to turn it off. And where the light switches should go, and whether I should have one or two. But it's obvious you should have two because, well, what should I say?
Jane's planning on working hard in her office, but without a door out to her deck, she's not going to be able to escape as easily as she had hoped. Is she happy to go with the windows she's been given, or does she really want that door?
So this is one of the other little mistakes we've had. This was supposed to be a ranch slider, and on the plans, when you look at the floor plans, it's very clear it's a ranch slider, but when you look at the elevations, because the ranch slider had to have windows in it, it did look like a window. So I caught up with Tim and sat down and explored the options. I could have a ranch slider that had windows in, but it would be a different type of ranch slider to my current one, so it wouldn't have quite the same look. So we walked around the factory because I like to see, and I'm quite a kinesthetic type person, I like to see, feel, touch, etc. And so we had a look at everything. Tim said, go away and think about it and let me know. So in the end, I decided to stay with the windows because this is the office and I'm not going to be spending a huge amount of time here. If there's only going to be a little deck if I had ranch sliders here, so it probably really wasn't going to add a huge amount of value. It was just, I just liked the concept that I could walk out if I wanted to. So it's windows, but that's fine.
Dustin always brightens the place up. Today is slightly different though. He's got his blue tape out as he goes through Jadine's house to mark out any imperfections that need to be fixed before he hands the house over to her.
Okay, so I'm getting really close to the end now, to the finishing stages. So part of the job for me is to walk around after the painters are finished and use my blue tape. Now, this is generally just identifying areas that have either been accidentally damaged by contractors, which is a bit of a pain, but it does happen, or just little areas that when the painting was originally done, we've just missed it for whatever reason. So you can imagine if a painter's in here when he's originally painting, he's looking at a white wall all day long, so it can actually sort of blur your vision a wee bit, and you can come back later and you can see something completely different. So part of the finishing things for us is have a wander around, then the painter comes in, Benny will be in here later on today, and he'll just follow what I've done. He may find some additional areas too, which he'll tidy up at the same time, but the goal is to leave the home 100% complete with no nicks or damage or anything, ready for Jadine. So she'll be completely happy with what we leave her, and that way if she damages it when she moves in, I can charge her for it. No, I wouldn't do that. But so that's what I'm going to be doing today, masking up and identifying those areas that we're not happy with.
Next time, will Jadine's house pass the final inspection so she can move in? And with Jane waiting on walls, we take a look at how Windstone wallboards make gyp plasterboard. That's next time on Your New Home.